What is going on, everybody? Welcome back to the channel. And if you are new here, make sure you hit that subscribe button and turn on those notifications because we cover everything you need to know about the Los Angeles Dodgers every single day. And today we have something absolutely massive to talk about. I was sitting here this morning, just going through my usual routine, coffee in hand, scrolling through my phone, and then boom! This news hits my feed, and I nearly spilled my drink all over my keyboard. I had to read it twice, 3 times, just to make sure I was seeing what I was seeing. And the moment I confirmed it, I picked up the phone, called my buddy who's been a Dodger fan for 30 years, and even he couldn't believe it. So buckle up, because what we are about to break down today is one of the most shocking, most unexpected, most jaw-dropping developments we have seen come out of Dodger Stadium in a very long time. Now, before we get into everything, I want to say this. I know a lot of you are going to have strong feelings about what I'm about to tell you. Some of you are going to be angry. Some of you are going to be confused. Some of you are going to be heartbroken. And honestly, all of those reactions are completely valid because when you hear what went down, you are going to understand exactly why the fan base is absolutely losing their minds right now on social media. The comment sections, the Twitter replies, the Reddit threads, Dodger Blue fans everywhere are in full meltdown mode, and for good reason. So let's paint the picture here. The Los Angeles Dodgers, one of the most storied franchises in all of Major League Baseball. A team with more money than almost any other organization in the sport. A team that has been built and rebuilt over the last several years into what many analysts considered to be the greatest roster ever assembled. This team, this powerhouse, this blue and white machine just made a move that nobody saw coming. And I want to be very clear about something. When I say nobody saw this coming, I don't mean that casually. I follow this team obsessively. I watch the beat reporters. I track the transactions. I listen to every press conference. And I talk to people inside the organization. Let me give you some context first, because I think it's really important that we understand the landscape here before we dive into the specifics. The Dodgers coming into this season were carrying expectations unlike anything we've seen in recent memory. After everything that happened last postseason, after the heartbreak and the near misses and the moments that made you question everything, this roster was supposed to be the answer. Management made it crystal clear this is a championship or bust year. The payroll tells you that. The signings tell you that. The commitment to winning tells you that. Every single move this organization made in the offseason was pointed directly at October baseball and bringing a World Series title back to Los Angeles. That was the mission. That was the mandate. And for a stretch of this season, it looked like things were trending in exactly the right direction. The bats were coming alive, the pitching staff was doing what it needed to do, and the clubhouse chemistry, by every account, felt different this year. More focused, more determined, like a group of men who had been through the fire together and knew exactly what was at stake. You could feel the energy every time they stepped on that field. The stadium was electric. The social media buzz was at an all-time high. Everything pointed toward this being the year. And then this happened. Now I'm going to walk you through everything that went down, step by step. Because there are several layers to this story, and I want to make sure we don't miss a single detail. This isn't just a simple transaction. This isn't just a roster move that gets buried in the transaction wire at the bottom of some sports website. No. This is the kind of thing that reshapes narratives, that changes the conversation about where this franchise is headed. And that raises some very serious questions about the direction of this team going forward. The exit that we're talking about sent shockwaves through the entire organization. People inside the building were blindsided. Players found out through the same channels the rest of us did. And if you know anything about how clubhouse dynamics work, You know that is never a good sign. When players are the last to know something major, when communication breaks down at that level, it creates fractures. It creates doubt. It creates the kind of tension that can unravel a season faster than any losing streak ever could. Now, the official messaging from the front office has been measured and professional, as you would expect. The statements released were carefully worded, full of appreciation and mutual respect, and all the language that organizations use when they want to control a narrative. But let me tell you something, the people who are closest to this situation, the ones who were in those rooms, the ones who heard the real conversations before the press releases went out, they are telling a very different story. And that story is one of frustration, of disagreement, of fundamental differences in philosophy that had been building for a while and finally reached a point where something had to give. And what gave, my friends, was this unexpected exit that has everyone in the Dodger universe spinning. Here's what makes this so significant beyond just the immediate impact. The Dodgers have been able to maintain this aura of invincibility, this sense that no matter what happens, the organization is always going to figure it out, always going to find a solution, always going to reload and come back stronger. And for the most part, over the last decade or so, that reputation has been earned. This is a franchise that has consistently been one of the best-run operations in professional sports. The farm system, the analytics department, the player development pipeline, it has all worked in concert to keep the Dodgers at or near the top of the National League year after year after year. But situations like this one put cracks in that image. They force you to ask uncomfortable questions. They make you wonder whether the machine is as well-oiled as we've been led to believe. And when those questions start getting asked publicly, when the fan base starts second-guessing decisions, when the national media starts poking around and writing the kinds of stories that management never wants written about their organization, that is when things get really interesting and really uncomfortable at the same time. Let's talk about the fan reaction for a moment, because honestly, it has been something to behold. Social media went absolutely nuclear within minutes of the news breaking. And look, Dodger fans are passionate people. They are not shy about their opinions. They are not the kind of fan base that sits quietly and accepts things at face value. They have earned the right to be loud and opinionated through decades of following this team through the highs and the lows and everything in between. So when something like this drops without warning, you better believe they are going to have things to say. And they said them. Boy, did they say them. The takes were flying from every direction. Some fans immediately went into damage control mode, trying to find the silver lining, trying to convince themselves and everyone around them that this actually works out in the Dodgers' favor in ways we don't fully understand yet. You always have that contingent, and I appreciate the optimism. I really do. But then you have the other side, the fans who are absolutely beside themselves, who feel like the ground has shifted beneath their feet, who are genuinely concerned about what this means for the rest of the season and beyond. And honestly, I understand both reactions. I genuinely do. Because the truth of this situation, like most situations in sports, is complicated. It is not black and white. There are legitimate arguments to be made on multiple sides of this debate. But what I will say, and this is the thing that keeps nagging at me no matter how many times I try to reason my way through it, is the timing. The timing of all of this is what makes it so hard to process. Because we are in the middle of a pennant race. We are in a stretch of the season where every single game feels like it carries the weight of the world. The margins are razor thin. The competition in this division is fierce. And in the middle of all of that intensity, the Dodgers are now dealing with this massive distraction, this massive shift, this thing that is going to dominate every press conference and every locker room question for the foreseeable future. Managing that distraction, keeping the focus on the field, keeping the players locked in on the task at hand, that becomes the challenge now. and it is a significant one. What happens next is the big question, and there are a few different directions this can go. One scenario is that the remaining pieces rally together, that this exit creates a kind of galvanizing moment for the clubhouse, that adversity bonds this group in a way that smooth sailing never could. We have seen that happen in sports. We have seen teams use upheaval as fuel. We have seen chaos transform into championship energy when the right group of people channels it properly. Is that what happens here? Maybe. This roster has the talent. It has the experience. It has the mental toughness, at least in theory, to absorb a hit like this and keep moving. But there is another scenario, and I would be doing you a disservice if I pretended it wasn't real. There is the scenario where this unravels things, where the questions don't go away, where the distraction compounds, where the pressure of being the Los Angeles Dodgers with a 9-figure payroll and a fan base that demands championships becomes too heavy when you're also navigating something like this. That scenario is possible too. And the difference between which path this team takes is going to come down to leadership, both in the front office and on that field. What I know for certain is this: the Dodgers are not done competing. This organization does not know how to quit. They have resources that most franchises can only dream of, and they have a track record of finding solutions when problems arise. But this one is going to test them in ways they haven't been tested in a while. And I think deep down, even the most optimistic Dodger fan knows that things look a little different today than they did yesterday. The next few weeks are going to tell us everything we need to know about the character of this team. Watch how they respond on the field. Watch how they carry themselves in the media. Watch whether the leadership in that clubhouse rises to meet this moment or gets swallowed by it. Because that response, more than anything else, is going to define what this season ultimately becomes. As always, I want to hear from you. Drop your thoughts in the comments below. Are you worried? Are you confident? Do you think this was the right call or the biggest mistake this organization has made in years? Let's talk about it. And if you got value from this video today, please smash that like button. Share this with your fellow Dodger fans, and I will see you in the next one. Stay blue, everybody.